Let's get you the latest now on the NEET controversy, the medical entrance examination over which protests have been held in different parts of the country, in Kolkata and in Delhi as well. Now, the opposition has been demanding the sacking of the NTA boss and also the Supreme Court monitored committee to look into the entire controversy surrounding the medical entrance examination as well as a CBI probe. But the Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has backed the testing agency and said that there's no information of paper leaks. That's also one of the allegations that has been made. But the major controversy has been over the issue of the grace marks that were given to over 1,500 students who had missed time during the examination. Now the Supreme Court has ordered a re-exam for those students. So Dharmendra Pradhan saying that with re-examination ordered for those 1,563 students, that there's no more any confusion and that the entire issue has been resolved with this re-examination of the students who got those controversial grace marks for having missed some time during the exam, and they missed that time because they were given the wrong question paper. But the Congress and allies are demanding a full probe into the entire NEET controversy.
देखो पेपर लीक की हमारे पास कोई जानकारी नहीं है। मैंने उस रीट पिटीशन को अनुध्यान कराया, कोई भी एक भी जगह पे प्रमाण नहीं है। एक एलिगेशन पेपर लीक हुआ है, कहां है प्रमाण हुआ है? एक दो चीजों की न्यूज आइटम पे अगर प्रमाण आधारित होता है तब कोर्ट उसको विचार करेगी, सरकार अपना पक्ष रखेगी और कोर्ट में 8 जुलाई को चर्चा भी होगी। मेरे जितना जानकारी है, नीट एक कॉम्पिटेंट एग्जामिनेशन करने वाला अथॉरिटी बन चुकी है। ये जो 3 प्रेस्टिजियस परीक्षा होते हैं, नीट, जेईई और सीयूईटी, इसमें से देश की 50 लाख से ज्यादा स्टूडेंट्स की हर एक साल अभी एग्जामिनेशन हो रहा है। विश्वसनीयता बढ़ी है, इसलिए आने वाले दिनों में सारे प्रकार की शंका संशय को दूर करने के लिए और पारदर्शिता लिया जाएगा और जो लोग उसमें कहीं ना कहीं एक आधा जगह पे कुछ गड़बड़ी करने का कोशिश कर भी रहे होंगे, उनके ऊपर कार्रवाई भी लिया जाएगा। और सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जो लार्जर प्रश्न सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने है, सरकार अपना मत उसमें से स्पष्ट रखेगी।
We believe that no inquiry can be a just and fair and comprehensive inquiry if the inquiry is headed by the NTA themselves. The NTA chairperson should be removed from his post. The Congress party believes that the BJP government's attitude towards the ongoing demand for an inquiry into the NEET exam is irresponsible and insensitive. We demand a Supreme Court monitored investigation into this entire scandal which has affected around 24 lakh students.
இன்னைக்கு முதலமைச்சர் அவங்களுடைய அலுவலகத்திலும் இங்க நடந்த குழப்படிகள் பற்றி எடுத்து சொல்லி இருக்கோம். ஆனா பொதுவாகவே நீட் தேர்வுகள் ரத்து செய்யப்பட வேண்டும் என்பதுதான் திராவிட முன்னேற்ற கழகத்தின் கொள்கையாக இருக்கு. ஒவ்வொரு பிரச்சனையும் தனித்தனியா நம்ம எடுத்துட்டு சரி செய்வதை விட முற்றிலுமாக நீட் தேர்வுகள் நிறுத்தப்பட வேண்டும் அப்படிங்கிறது நம்மளுடைய கொள்கை. ஆனா அதுக்கான முயற்சிகளை முதலமைச்சர் அவர்கள் செய்து கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். ஆனா இங்க நடந்திருக்கக்கூடிய பிரச்சனைக்கு நிச்சயமாக ஏதாவது ஒரு வழியிலே அங்க பாதிக்கப்பட்ட மாணவர்களுக்கும் பெற்றவர்களுக்கும் நியாயம் கிடைப்பதற்கு வழிவகை செய்வோம்.
All right, so a massive controversy with students protesting, now a solution from the Supreme Court. The Education Minister saying that this should resolve the issue. Re-examination has been ordered for those people who were awarded the controversial grace marks. But it's also a huge political controversy with the, opposition criticizing the government, asking for a probe into the entire matter. To talk more about this, we're joined by Aspirant national spokesperson of the Congress, Rajalakshmi Joshi, political analyst, someone who supports the BJP, Salem Dharanidharan, a national spokesperson of the DMK, and Ranbir Singh Pathania, a lawyer, also supports the BJP. Well, let's go across first to Aspirant Kardial. The education minister saying, Dharmendra Pradhan saying, that now the Supreme Court has agreed to their, their solution, that the 1,500 plus people who had got the grace marks, that those grace marks be taken away and they can then go in for a re-examination. So he says there is no paper leak and this issue of the grace marks has been resolved. So there should be no controversy now.
No, that's not how things work. We don't know the reason as to why so many students in the first place were awarded grace marks. And it's not just a couple of students that have been given these grace marks. There are thousands of students. And this issue has impacted and adversely affected 24 lakh families, 24 lakh students. And despite that, Mr. Modi hasn't uttered a single word, as if the Prime Minister is not bothered by it, as if the Prime Minister does not care about the 24 lakh families that have been affected because of this. And this goes on to suggest that the BJP government's attitude is irresponsible, and they have zero empathy, zero sympathy for all these families that are suffering because of this. And second of all, how can the Bharatiya Janata Party and Mr. Pradhan be judge, jury and executioner if the inquiry hasn't happened yet? How can you say there was no paper leak? That is for the inquiry to decide. Na? That is for the investigation agency to decide. And that's why we have demanded a Supreme Court monitored probe so that we can get to the depth of the problem. And third, and the important point is that the Bharatiya Janata Party and Mr. Modi, they are busy attending oath-taking ceremonies, are busy going on foreign trips. And this goes on to suggest that their priorities are in order. Students, lakhs of families at the bottom, and oath-taking ceremonies and trips are at the top. Then as the results, they came on the 4th of June of the exam. And on the same date, the election results were also announced. Was it kept for a reason so that the election results would eclipse the exam results, and so that nobody would pay attention to that, nobody would focus upon that, and the wrong can continue to happen? I mean, the BJP, instead of being instead of being active and instead of ordering an inquiry, is trying to brush things under the carpet. We want to know why.
Joshi, your response to that, the demand for a CBI inquiry, the demand for a Supreme Court monitored committee to also look into these entire issue, because this involves, lakhs of students, 24 lakh students took this exam, and we can't be having this kind of a confusion with such a, prestigious examination. Yes, Rajalakshmi, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Was that for me?
Yes.
Can you just repeat what you were asking?
I was saying your response to the Congress's demand that that there be the CBI investigation or a Supreme Court monitored committee to look into this entire matter. The Education Minister saying that a re-exam has been ordered for those 1,500 students, plus students who got the grace marks. So therefore, for the moment the issue should be resolved, there was no paper leak.
What I think is the Supreme Court has taken a very wise decision, and the students have been given a choice that they either accept the original marks as they were without the grace marks, or they take a re-exam, and the results will be announced before the 30th of June, so that they can actually go ahead with the counseling in July as it was earlier supposed to be. So it doesn't affect the 24 lakh students, because otherwise that was a very grave situation. So I am thankful that that has not come to that. But I do agree that there has to be an investigation to see why all of this has happened, and what the minister is saying. He is definitely in charge of matters. So I don't think that the Congress is right in saying that the Prime Minister should be commenting on this and not the minister. So they cannot choose to say that. So he is the minister in charge of all these things, and he has said that right till now it has not come to his notice that there was anything fishy about the paper leak. So if it does come to that, if it does come to their notice that way, then they will take suitable action, and I think the Supreme Court is looking into it. So then definitely whatever comes to light, the suitable action will be
All
taken.
right,
So
Selam
I think
Dharani
that
Dharan, you want to come in here, I can see. But yes, this issue of paper leak is not something, it's in the Supreme Court as well. There has been no paper leak is what the NTA has said. Yes, the grace mark issue was a huge controversy, and for the moment, a re-examination has been ordered for that.
See, firstly, there are few questions for the education minister. The first and foremost, the economics offences unit of the Bihar government under DIG has has taken few people on custody, including students, where the students seem to have agreed that they were given the question papers a day before the exam, and the questions and answers from the actual exam were very similar to what was given to them. The DIG has also come and told on record that 35 students were given this question paper. That's point number one. And in Bihar, you know, it's BJP's alliance that's in power. Point number two is 10 minus 5 is 5. 10 minus 4 is 6, right? Numbers don't change, right? So what is funny is many students have got 719 and 717 and 718. How is it possible? Each question carries 4 marks. And if you answer them wrongly, it is -1, which means that if you have answered one question wrongly, then it has to be 715. Or if you have chose to not answer the question, then you don't get that -1 mark, so it has to be 716. How are the scores of 719 and 718 possible? And I think the minister should have given answer for this. This is just not some mere digression, it's just complete lack of capacity.
What one understood
right?
was because of the grace marks. That is the reason that, you know, some of these marks had gone up in this manner.
No, but then I think this kind of belies the common sense, no? Because some students have not been given grace marks, which means they must have gotten, and they got only one question wrong, and maybe not attempted that question. They would have gotten 716, and someone was gotten two questions or 3 questions wrong. Let's say they got 700 and let's say 8, and then they were given grace marks of 10. They become 718. I think which is wrong for the students who just got one question wrong, right? Because then they are behind these people who gotten 719, 718, 718, and 716. And conducting an exam is a serious business. More than 24 lakh students have written this exam, and it's life or death for them. And how can they be so careless with it? I think if this is the case, then I think this is, see, grace marks is fine, but as to be a common formula, people should sit and decide how it should be done. There should be an expert committee.
It's not definitely like this needs a relook. I think everybody is agreed that the way this exam is conducted.
Which is why, there's one more important point. One more important point,
okay,
which I want to make. See, which is why my party has always been saying, apart from the anti-merit aspect, which I'll go in a later debate, but which is why we've been saying that this is anti-federal. All the state medical colleges, which fills up 90% of the seats, are with the state government. It's our money. In Tamil Nadu, we have been running these exams forever.
May be, but many experts that one has spoken of are very against it going back to the states. They feel a lot of issues happen there.
No, let me finish. I'm not going. See, Tamil Nadu, we've been having a recruitment process which is flawless. Even now, people from across the country, South Asia, even broader Asia, come to Chennai for medical treatment. Chennai has the best medical college. So my leader has been saying, why should we learn from a system which has no precedent? But our system has proved to the rest of the country that this is the best system to train doctors. So and we pay for the medical colleges in Tamil Nadu, and we have the highest number of medical seats.
This issue is raised in Parliament, and across party lines, all get together to look for a way to resolve this. Ranbir Singh Pathania, do come in here. The Education Minister denying any paper leak, but yes, as Selam Dharani Dharan there pointed out, there was an issue that happened in Bihar where there was said to be a paper leak. This was fobbed off as a kind of, this was a very local thing that happened, but it is involving the centralized exam. So how do you say that there was no, major paper leak, even if in one area there was one? And clearly this entire, the way this exam is conducted needs a look at. Even those students who got the grace marks, the reason they were given grace marks was because in the exam center they were given the wrong paper. How can that happen? How can the National Testing Agency give the wrong question paper to students? They lose marks, have tension, and then given these grace marks, now again it goes to the court, etc., etc. So it's really, the entire system needs a relook.
Gargi, first of all, this new and a novel concept of NEET. This is virtually on a pan-India basis, almost 25 lakh students giving this NEET on one day, on one single time, and one paper in almost 13 to 14 languages. So we should appreciate this. Secondly, first and foremost, prima facie, there is no case, no tangible evidence which has come before the public view, before the Honorable Supreme Court, or in the view of the government, which suggests that there was a paper leak. Now, let us limit this controversy simply with regard to the grace marks. You see, half-truths, hoaxes, and hallucinations don't lead us anywhere. The sincerity of the government, because the government had already enacted the Public Examinations Bill 2024. It was virtually aimed at with a view to pinning and with a view to hitting out these nexuses which were prevailing with regard to paper leak, with regard to affecting, with regard to influencing the transparency and the accountability of the selection and virtually these paper processes. So with regard to these grace marks also, there's a bit of a confusion. As the minister has also admitted in not explicit, but you could say in a but suggestive terms, if anybody is found that he has tried to influence the election process, the law of the land shall find its own course. My respectful submission to each and everybody across the board, first of all, the students, they should be very patient, they should be confident, and they should have faith virtually on the process. This is not, we are not living in anarchy, we are living in a democratic system. We are living in a system which is being analyzed, which is being scrutinized at various layers and various levels, may it be judiciary, may it be media, may it be various specialists, analysts giving podcasts on YouTube also. So we are not living in anarchy. And second submission to the political parties and players across the board, sir, that please be responsible. Our one wrong statement, our one wrong interview, this can spark off a big controversy. This can act a bigger fuel to the fire. So we need to take the plausible way out. I think the statement of the minister is very much concise. It is very much explanatory also, and I think it is very much fits the exigencies of time and place.
All right,
also,
Ashpreet Khadiyal, your response to that,
and we should.
That let's not do politics over students in this manner. Yes, of course, their rights have to be looked into, and this exam has to be looked into. But if for the moment,
too sensitive an issue to play politics over.
Because we've spoken to many students here. Yes, we've spoken to many students here at NDTV before this, and many of them said what they wanted was exactly what has been decided, that those who got the grace marks should have a re-examination, that those grace marks should be taken away. And if for the moment, if this is going to, help settle the issue, Ashpreet Khadiyal, we shouldn't play with the emotions of students and create this, bogey of the question paper having leaked out.
Well, number one, the foremost question here is that why is the Bharatiya Janata Party shying away from a probe? Is there something that the BJP's government is trying to hide from the people of India? Is there something that you're trying to ensure that doesn't get found out? Because the BJP, instead of being actively asking for or ordering a probe, is trying to brush things under the carpet. Everything is all right. There is no leak. I mean, until and unless there is a proper inquiry, you cannot comment upon it. And second of all, you see, how can the Bharatiya Janata Party's minister decide, sitting in his AC office, as to what has happened and what is not, if they were actively pursuing this matter, and if the lives of all these students were important to them? Then by now the inquiry would have concluded. We would have known if there are any perpetrators who need to be basically put behind bars, and if justice is to be done. And apart from that, students are protesting, and the BJP supporters and the BJP leaders are saying there is no need for Mr. Modi to speak on this. I mean, if this is the attitude of the Bharatiya Janata Party's Modi 3.0, this goes on to suggest that it's very unfortunate, and especially for the students, they cannot expect a fair exam, they cannot expect a fair career, and if they're asking for it and the government is ignorant and the government is unbothered, it goes on to suggest that it's very unfortunate.
Right.
And the Bharatiya Janata Party
One quick
government
reply
needs to
to
take
that. Ranveer Singh Pathania, your reply to that.
Madam, the maxim goes that democracy dies in darkness. I doubt and I rather dispute that the Bharatiya Janata Party or the ruling government has anything to hide. There's everything which is out in the open. But let me ask my learned friend from Congress, will you come clean? Your Sarkar with 26 cases of paper leak in Rajasthan, that is the Galot Sarkar.
All right, now we know this is the paper leak issue is a larger issue, yes, which also needs to be resolved in this country. Finally, Salem Dharani Dharan, your final word to you.
See, first and foremost, what is happening is, at the least, the minister should have apologized for the mistake that has happened. And like my friend from the Congress said, they should have ordered a probe. I don't know why they're shying away from it. I think the approach is you make mistakes, but at least you apologize. But this government, BJP, I thought they will learn now because they've got a drastically reduced majority from the people. I thought they will at least do a course correction, but it looks like that the BJP does not want to do course correction, and they're very brazen about it. This is our way. And whatever we do, whatever mistakes we do, we'll not apologize and we'll keep doing the same mistakes.
The Parliament is going to be meeting at the end of this month, and hopefully all parties, all members of Parliament, they can get together to talk more about this and have a committee on this. For the moment, Supreme Court has said that those students who were given the grace marks, they will take a re-exam.